Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about The Hate U Give, and this movie came out in 2018, and it's been a movie that I've been waiting to watch for a while. I just haven't really gotten around to it, and I wasn't really expecting much, and after seeing it, I got less than what I was expecting. This movie wasn't terrible, it just wasn't very good in my opinion, and if you like this movie, that's fine. It's just not a movie for me, and I get that a lot of people can watch this movie and say, I agree with the message of the movie, and that's why it connects with me, and it has a political commentary that I think is very relevant, and that's also something good about it, and I like those things, don't get me wrong, but personally, when I'm watching a movie, that's not why I watch movies. When I'm there isn't for any political commentary or a good message. When I'm there is for the craft, like the acting, the cinematography, the editing, the story. So if your movie doesn't really have anything for me on that level, then it's just not going to be a movie for me, to put it lightly. There are some things that I like about this movie. I liked the first 10 minutes of the movie, and I enjoyed the performances overall. And as I said, I like the message of the movie, and I liked what the movie was trying to communicate. And that's about it, unfortunately. What really didn't connect with me was the story, and normally I don't really talk about the story because normally the plot doesn't really matter to me. I'm more there for the presentation of the film, but for this movie, there's nothing about this movie that connected with me, and it wasn't the worst thing in the world, it just was boring for me, and there's so many scenes that I just couldn't really sit through because nothing of interest was happening, and I just wasn't really entertained, and the only parts of this movie that I enjoyed were just the really funny parts, where it wasn't even trying to be funny. And this movie does get really, really funny, unintentionally speaking, towards the third act. Once we get around there, there's so many over-the-top moments that I was just... I almost laughed out loud because of how it was executed. It was so bad. And it was so poorly handled, and the characters in this movie are also pretty weak. I like our main character's dad in the movie. I think he's the best character in the whole film. But the rest of the characters kind of suck. I really don't like them. And pretty much the only reason anything happened in this movie plot-wise was because characters were being stupid. And because of that, I can't really feel sorry that if something bad happens to them, it kind of feels justified that this happened to them. In terms of visuals in this movie, there wasn't really anything visually striking, which I found to be really disappointing because this movie could have been really effective if it was told in an interesting way visually. Like, I could have the movie on mute and really be effective as to what is happening visually, but I couldn't because I didn't think any of the shots in this movie were anything great, except for a few that were in the beginning. There's only a handful of shots in this movie that I would consider interesting, and that's about it. I'll give the movie some credit. This movie is rated PG-13, and this movie kind of feels like it's rated R. And the reason why that's a plus for me is because there's so many movies that I watch and it's this is just probably rated R, or it's it would be a PG-13 movie if the MPAA wasn't stupid. But this time it felt like a hardcore PG-13 movie, and I enjoyed it. But going back to negatives, this movie is sprinkled with conveniences, and it's just really annoying. And none of it feels natural, and I just thought it was forced. And that's one of my biggest problems with this movie, is that the drama in the film feels forced. I can't go on without mentioning this. After the plot starts to get in motion, our main character has dream sequences, and I thought it was so funny. I was I almost broke out laughing at the movie because of how it was presented. It was so funny to me. I'm sorry if this offends anybody that I found this movie to be unintentionally funny, but I'm sorry. That's just how I felt. And that's about all I have to say about The Hate You Give. It's a movie you can watch. There are some good performances in this movie. There's some interesting shots towards the beginning. I like the first 10 minutes of the movie. And I like the message of the film. I like what it's trying to go for. It's just, at its core, the movie just didn't have anything to offer for me. And I was mostly bored while watching it. Eventually, I was entertained because it got funny bad. Sorry. I tried to get into this movie, I just couldn't. So, unfortunately, I cannot recommend that you check this movie out. And with all that being said, I'm going to give The Hate You Give a 4 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of The Hate You Give down below. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. I have nothing against you if you disagree with me on any movie that I talk about. And whenever I talk about any movie, I'm trying my best to be honest with how I feel and also be reasonable. And that's my goal if I'm going against popular opinion. Just be honest and reasonable. Just don't get too mad at me for saying how I feel. That's all I ask. And my social media links, they will all be in the description down below, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that's going to be for The Nice Guys. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching, and have a great day.